Story 1. I work at a semi-major phone retailer. I had about an hour left to finish my 9-hour shift. This woman comes in and sits down. I ask her how can I help her, and she asks what time I leave. I was confused, but figured she was waiting for someone. After I tell her, she immediately asks if I can give her a ride home. I don't even own a car, and my dad usually picks me up since I live 5 minutes away. But I didn't tell her that. Because she sounded so entitled, I knew she would tell me to tell my dad to give her a ride. Instead, I tell her I live close and that I always get an Uber. She asks if she can ride in the Uber with me. Thinking she lives close at this point, I ask where she lives. She lives 20 minutes away. I said sorry, but I can't do that. She asks how Uber works. I tell her she needs a card, but she didn't have one. I tell her to get a taxi, but she doesn't have any cash because she just got her hair done. At this point, I realized she actually wanted me to pay for her Uber ride. She says she will get picked up by her daughter at 9 p.m. This was around 6 p.m. Let me also add that she's the type that doesn't know how to talk. She talks at a yelling level with all the spit-throwing thing going on. She proceeds to talk on the phone at an even higher level for around 15 minutes inside the store. I couldn't even hear a customer that came in. Very annoying stuff. The customer leaves and she hangs up. That's when she tells, yes, told, not asked, me to a job application for her. I pointed at the cameras and said my boss is watching and I would get in trouble. Oh, he won't find out, just pretend you're using your phone, she says. She dragged a chair right next to me, puts her phone in my hands, and tells me to look up on Google for said job. I acted like I didn't know what to do. This woman proceeds to call the manager of the place she wanted to work at, so he could tell me step by step how to do it. She wouldn't leave me alone, so I just did it. Whole time she would sway to super close proximity to me, and it was very uncomfortable. She ended up taking a long time getting her email and SSN that it came time for me to close the store. I told her she had to finish it herself, because I had stuff to do before closing. I close at 7 p.m. It was 6:55 p.m. at this time. She kept insisting I finish, that it would just take a few minutes. I just stood up to close the store and told her she had to leave. I was at my limit. She leaves, but stands just outside the store. My dad arrives to pick me up, and I finish closing up. She caught me outside, still insisting I finish. I said my Uber is here, and get inside the car. She's flagging me down still, signaling my dad to pull down the window. I tell my dad to ignore her and just leave. And what do you know? The store is located in a plaza. So at the end of it, I see her get inside a car through the passenger seat. She had a ride right there for who knows how long. At least I learned to not be a doormat for strangers next time. Top comment. I would have her leave store when she was yelling at the phone, interfering with your job. Call mall security or police, whatever. I would have never done the application for her because of the way she commanded you instead of asking. Again, calling security or police if she doesn't let me work in peace. OP's response. In hindsight, I should have done just that, but I had never in my life met someone like that, so I didn't know what to do. I'm extremely non-confrontational and a people pleaser when I'm at work. Another responded, not only that, it's technically illegal because it can be considered misrepresentation or even fraud. When you sign an application, you're certifying that you personally completed it and that the information is accurate to the best of your knowledge. While I couldn't care less if someone fills out an employment application on someone else's behalf, this detail is important BC. If this woman comes back, OP has valid reason to refuse. Another mentioned, if she has a ride there waiting for her. Then they were up to no good. Not sure what the scam is, but maybe if you gave her a ride, she may have falsely accused you of something and demanded money. Or the follow car will eventually try to rob you when you stop to drop her off. One thing I'm sure, she was up to no good. OP replied, I didn't even think of that. I just thought someone eventually came to pick her up, because she was arguing with someone on the phone insisting they pick her up, but it sounded like the person didn't want to. I also didn't see any messages saying they were there for her while doing the application, but she did have her phone at times while looking for personal info. Story 2. I work for a state government agency in a very old building. There is only one small bathroom for the 2 floors, and it only has 2 stalls and 1 sink. I walked in, needing to use the facilities, and a woman was talking on her phone by the sink. I headed to the stall and she stopped me. Sorry, can you wait outside until I finish my call? I was shocked and then very annoyed. I really had to pee, so I said, no, it's an emergency, and went in. She got all huffy and said, hang on, I have to leave the room I'm in. Lady, if you don't want bathroom noises in the background of your call, don't go to the only bathroom in the building. Top comment, LMAO, the room I'm in. Ma'am, this is the bathroom. Another comment, I would have loudly announced, tell your friend you're interrupting people needing the toilet. Another one said, I love when people are on the phone in the bathroom. I'll flush over and over until they leave. Let the person on the other end of the phone know what a tactless individual they are. Someone shared, so true story. I was in the bathroom at work, doing my business and minding my own. When someone walks in having a loud phone conversation, they get in a stall and continue to chat. I was contemplating doing what everyone else here has mentioned when suddenly the bathroom door slams open and I hear, "Oh God," repeatedly. A stall door slams shut. And the longest, noisiest bout of gastrointestinal distress that I have ever heard, punctuated with groans and sighs of relief, followed by a very flustered, I'll call you back," from the phone call stall. It was one of the most satisfying things I have ever experienced. Another shared. One time, I walked into a bathroom and someone tried to do the same thing. I flushed the toilet and hit the blow dryer before walking out and going to another bathroom on the same floor. As I was down the hall, I heard the bathroom door open and the guy called me a D. Story 3. Today I witnessed an entitled old woman get her head deflated. I take the bus to and from work and normally I have my headphones blasting music. Today of all days I had them off but still in my ears when an old woman steps on the bus. Because my mama taught me right. Be polite, say please and thank you, don't yell, and above all else if you're gonna talk about somebody do it behind their backs like proper, a proper education. I offered my seat to said woman and she said she was young enough to be standing. Cue 2 minutes later and she starts mad-mouthing me to all the bus that young people, I'm 35 but go off I guess, have no respect for the elderly and I'm making her stand on a bus that's going too fast. I just ignore it because again, my headphones were in my ears, but music off. Cue the entitled speech of, you guessed it, back in my day. A teenager was sat by my side, and I could see the anger on her face and her calm just flying out the window. The exchange was hilarious. Old woman said, again, back in my day, men gave their seats to women. The teen just yelled out, back in your day if you spoke without being asked, you would be burnt at the stake you old HAG. Now be quiet, you are in public. I don't know who this teenager is, but I want to be her when I grow up. Top comment. I would have just said, well ma'am, you didn't take the seat when I offered. You said you were young enough to stand. Shall we go to court for defamation? Someone shared, my husband's son, young teen, and myself were on a packed team heading to a sport event, and a group of 4 mature-aged women got on near where we were seated. My husband straight away offered his spot, and one of them refused and started carrying on about parents not teaching their children manners and how the kid should be standing. My son has a disability and a speech delay. So, when thus woman turned to my son and asked how old he was, and he replied politely, but was hard to understand. The woman very quickly realized she tried to pick on the wrong person, and the people with her told her to pull her head in. Someone asked, surely everyone saw you offer your seat, and her say no. OP replied, they did. I'm pretty sure she just wanted to act out, and because she thought I couldn't hear, she thought she could say whatever the hell she wanted. I don't think she was expecting to be called out that savagely. One further comment. Actually, no, I disagree. The lady was clearly in the wrong, but the teenager is just as bad for responding just as rudely. They should have reminded her that they did offer her their seat, but she refused. Did you enjoy the trio of AITA with sprinkles of petty revenge stories? Share your thoughts on these, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you on the next one.